Well, let's get more because Daniel Costello is Chief Executive of the investment fund Titan Advisors, joins us in the studio. Daniel, great to have you with us. So lots to do for President Obama, but I guess the top priority, and correct me if I'm wrong, one would assume is getting Congress to agree on raising, Michelle was just talking about, raising this limit of just how much, right, the US can sit on in terms of debt.
Yeah, there's two big things this spring. There's the raising of the debt. There's also the spending cuts they didn't do on January 1st. Now those go into effect March 1st. So really, there's two things that they've got to keep on in the short term they have to focus on.
So, and when you talk about spending cuts, I mean, that's a priority, certainly a priority in terms of the Republicans, right? I mean, this is how they're going to have to pay if they want to increase the debt limit.
Yeah, so when there was the fiscal cliff in January 1st, there were a few parts to it, right? They simply kicked a few of them down the street. So two of them are left. One of them is the debt ceiling, which has to be done by February. One of them on March 1st are all the spending cuts that they just pushed away, right? That amounts to about 100 billion pounds this year. It would knock the economy back into recession. So they have to address both of these things separately.
Yeah, that whole fiscal cliff, which turned into what is the expression? Fiscal fumble.
Or fiscal ledge, right?
Fumble, whatever. But the consequences are rather dire. Correct me if I'm wrong again for the United States. If Congress can't agree, then you could see the US defaulting and then of course the credit rating agencies swooming in.
Yeah. I mean, they have to deal with this. There's no resolution. You have the spending cuts would clearly hurt the GDP of the economy. Some economists say it's about 3 to 4% of GDP. But at the same time, you'll see interest rates spike. They lose credibility around these long-term fiscal issues. They have to address it.
Now, let's say they get all that sorted. What's next? What's the big economic chapter for facing President Obama now? I mean, once we get all this budget out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, next, I think the long term, the big thing the business community and President Obama say they want to focus on is immigration reform. They're saying that it's affecting businesses, especially small businesses, agriculture, etc. And so they want to look at immigration for the first time in a generation. Because
in terms of what? Sorry, in terms of making it easier for immigration?
It would do everything from increase the number of visas, allowing people to come into the country and stay, entrepreneurs, which the UK started this fall, but it would also allow a path to citizenship for the number of immigrants who've been in the US. They're saying that it's essential. The business community is really pushing this behind the scenes. In the fall, Republicans lost heavily in the Hispanic community, in this growing thing. So politically, there's a sense that they might play ball this time. It's what the White House desperately wants to deal with it.
Okay, well, all eyes and ears on that. And of course, the big inauguration later on this afternoon. Daniel, thanks very much. Daniel Costello joining us there from Titan Advisors. Okay, let's